Behold, behold, what is the greatest secret of philosophy? What is my greatest secret? You reach back to the ancient theologies and philosophies, whether Hellenic, Greek, Kemetic, Babylonian, Akkadian, Assyrian, Buddhist, Hindi, and so on, so on, so on, so on. Many source texts were preserved to be studied, not to be summed up in philosophical dictionaries and left as history behind. We have modern philosophy, modern science, modern psychology, everything to cover up for your weird, decrepit ways of thought. Now, if you go back to the ancient source text, you have the Loeb collection, you have all the Warburg Institute collections of, for example, Arabic preserved knowledge, and so on and so on. There are many translations rendered into English. And the secret is you throw, first things first, as an axiom, those philosophies and theologies compendially understood, like Plato did. He was a compendialist. He connected all the dots of the ancient philosophies, are true. And the Judeo-Christian detritus was false. So you go back to the ancient works, for example, Plotinus, Neoplatonist, and you throw bridges through history and centuries into modernity. And you do not try to reduce their philosophy or theology by modernity. No. You take the threads that they finished and you link it with modernity by developing them continuously through occult magic, through philosophy, through the general love of the divinity, of the human mind, soul, of nature, of the world and the stars, supporting it with modern science, physical astronomy, and philosophy of essences, the metaphysics of the astronomical objects, and so on and so on. So this is the greatest secret on which you will find the philosophical path that is unveiling the greatest mysteries, intelligible autophaneias of gods. So what is an autophaneia? It is a self-manifestation of the divinities that are using symbols that are mutually intelligible between a mortal and gods. For example, if I see a caduceus or a golden Tirsa or the eagle of Republican Rome, why do I see such symbols? Because I'm a heathen? Also, but because the divinities are hinting that, for example, I'm at the correct path. And they utter, continue, little mortal boy. So I do, and I throw bridges in between centuries, in between East and West, and try to understand it better. Because there is common wisdom and ideas that were developed amongst humanity centuries ago, and returning to them is the vector towards the past. Even the ancients always look towards the glorious past. Nowadays, we look towards the future or towards the present. Now, if you, as I mentioned in one of the lectures, if you want to rebury the pages, you need to go backwards in time. In other words, you cannot reform societies by inept Jewish Christian religions. Ever heard about reforms, civilizational reforms that were accomplished by Judeo-Christian illogical irrationalists? No. The Renaissance tried to Neoplatonize and reach back for the past. The Enlightenment and Romanticism tried to reach back to the past to reform societies. And even in modernity, in this postmodern chaos, we need to reach back to the past to see what wisdom the ancients had to say and convey, and throw bridges in between us and them. And I assure you that this is the best method of creating fine people and fine societies, by taking the best from the ancient times and the best from modernity. Because there is a whole terra incognita that you are not aware of. If you put those philosophies into your philosophical dictionaries and reduced ideas, what did the ancients think? And nobody knows. What did Plato develop, or Parmenides in his doxology? Well, so remember, Ancient philosophy and theology taken axiomatically as true, bridging between East and West, admitting that the Oriental philosophies, the Hindi, the Buddhist, were also true. There are many, of course, sects, philosophies, many threads of understandings, and they were also combating the highest intellects that combated in order to believe in this or that or something else. But when you extract the essences of their thought and try to recombine it and compendialize them, there is not one single truth, no. But at least you have the proportions, at least you have the knowledge and the wisdom in order to combine them, not as a syncretic mess, but as the emasculation of certain wisdom that they developed. And it is highly useful, not only in your individual lives, but it may be useful in your societies. Hence, Hellenic Muse, golden and silver, I salute thee. Oh, it was an exclamation during the Eleusinian mysteries, while they proceeded from Athens to Eleusis. Eoi, hiepaean, hiasteriai.